Now, while you're listening to this, bear in mind that your bedraggled admin Seph hasn't actually slept yet, and it's about 3 a.m., so if he sounds particularly delirious or sleep deprived or anything of the like, then notch down to that. If he sounds completely out of his hat with insanity, well, that's just me normally. Anyway, I was going to talk to you guys about a couple of things. Presuming, of course, I can remember what I was going to talk to you about, which we will notch down to the sleep deprivation once more. I think one of the things I was going to talk about was the Atlantean Amazon plot thread. Setbacks. We've all been having some scheduling conflicts, obviously, but we will get that done some point next week. I need you guys to give me some sort of time that you can do it, because that's gone so well the last few times. And then we'll get it done on that day, hopefully. Fingers crossed and knocking on wood. That is taking place right after the whole Rise the Dead plot thread. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay, you probably don't need to, because that won't be relevant by that point. That's going to be pretty important, and you'll see why at the time. The other thing is to... Good lord, I'm completely out of it. Anyway, the other thing is to go back, if you can, and read up on the thread that's linked in the sign-up thread for the current individual plot threads, because this is going to be very relevant down the line. That is, if you're interested in being a part of the story. Blah de blah de blah, non-mandatory, etc, etc. Anyway, aside from that, there are a couple of things that I want to talk to you about in regard to metagaming and power playing. It's something that can be a little difficult to differentiate sometimes, because what your character should know and shouldn't know isn't always the easiest of distinctions to make. Metagaming generally is the practice of knowledge relative to your character that exceeds what they should reasonably have. Basically just having your character know something they shouldn't do. Now, in a world like this, that can, like I say, that can be a little bit difficult to tell whether your character should know something or not. But basically, if it's not something that's within the realm of common knowledge, or something that's in their power set to know, fun fact, the power of like superhuman wisdom or something doesn't mean that they know things that they wouldn't know otherwise. It just means that they have good judgment. Yeah, if it's not something that they've been told, and if it's not something that's in the realm of common knowledge, then they won't know it. The other thing is power gaming, which is like determining how something will happen relative to another character. Obviously there's some degree of power gaming, or a large degree of power gaming, in the story threads, but that's sort of one of the things that you assent to when you start involving in the story thread, because really the story can't really be told unless your character's actions get controlled a tiny bit, a little bit. Generally in player-player interactions, the power gaming stuff shouldn't happen, so just bear that in mind. There was another thing. We've had some violations of the Envision-free terms of service. Now this can actually get boards shut down, so I want you guys to be careful about that if you can. If you need to go take a look at the terms of service, they're available on the main Envision-free website. But for the most part, I trust you guys to use your judgment and to steer clear of anything like that. Now, aside from this, I am going to be absent-ish in the second week of October, and some point in November, I'm not sure when exactly. So, the main person in charge at that point, this will be around the 12th of October, and again I don't know when exactly in November, the main person in charge at that point, if I am completely absent, will be Tasha. So I want you guys to all be on your best behavior for her. This feels like I'm leaving a classroom of children in the hands of a substitute teacher. Be on the best behavior, kids. Don't be too much trouble. But seriously, be good and don't let things fizzle in the days where I'm gone. I feel like I did have something more to add. I feel like there were some other things that I wanted to talk about, not so much the blah 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 about do this, do that, but just some other general things I wanted to bring to people's attention, but they are not coming to my mind at all. Again, brain fizzlage, because that's such an unnatural state for me otherwise. But for the time being, if they occur to me later, I imagine that I'll just speak to you about it then. For the time being, I am signing off. Be good.